Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's comic book review. Before we get into the next comic, I just want to continue on this 2 seconds even though it seemed like I finished with it. I was saying the Ultimate Universe is a awesome comic series and you should pick anything up that is made by them. That's my opinion. A lot of people do not like the retelling, especially after the Ultimate Universe. I think the artwork could be better, but I'm still enjoying the Ultimate Universe. It's had its share of it's staggering back after Ultimatum. I think they went a little too far on a lot of in a lot of ways, but Spider-Man and the Avengers are still good. And we're waiting for the last part of Armor Wars for Iron Man. Hopefully that'll be coming out soon. And Ultimate Enemies, it's short. It's 4 parts. It started off slow, but you never know. It could pick up, and it has potential. That's all I'm going to say. Now on to something else. Superman 996. Still Mon-El. We have one more stupid new Krypton comic book coming out by sometime this month. I just can't wait for it to be over. And now I can't wait for World War Superman to be over. Whatever the hell DC's calling that stupid shit. I keep forgetting because it's just retarded. Which is going into another thing. After New Krypton, it's going to be called Superman Brainiac. It's going to be 3 parts. It's going to reach all the way out till April. And I already told you guys, 2-to-1, Kandor is going to be shrunk again. Superman is going to go back to his life as Superman, except the whole world is going to be against him, and he's going to have to make, he's going to have to make the entire world trust him again. That's when I'll be happy, when Superman's back on the planet, back in his suit, doing what he does best. But sadly, that's not for another few months. It's a nice comic. A lot of Legionnaires are showing up. It's also been hinted that the Legion is going to be showing up in World War Superman and Brainiac, Superman Brainiac. So, Brainiac Attacks, I think it's going to be. I don't know, it's Brainiac or Brainiac Attacks, but the Legion's going to be involved. That's why they're starting to show up in the Mon-El comics. If you haven't been picking up Superman, wait a while. Wait a few more months. Shit, wait till at least the middle of this year. Another Superman title, well, sort of Superman title, Supergirl number 49. Lana's in the hospital. Big event. I'm not even going to get into the Supergirl it was stupid. It ended and Lana's in the hospital. That's how it starts off with Lana bleeding from the eyes, and mouth, and the nose and everything, and everybody believes Lana's dead. I'm skipping over the fight with Banshee, and Supergirl goes to the hospital, all dressed up in her civilian clothes, and they say, "We're sorry, Lana's dead." They did a lot of blood work. And then all of a sudden you see a little bug walk across Lana, and Supergirl runs into the autopsy room, and she's in a cocoon. And it says to be continued. Is Lana really dead? Probably not. DC's not known to kill anyone off, except Superman's dad, of course. So, we'll see what happens in the next part. So the big question mark is Lana gone forever, or are they going to bring her back as a spawn of God knows what, with knowing what bugs? It reminds me of something that happened in Superman comics before this whole stupid new Krypton thing, where Lana was taken. So maybe it could have a tie-in to that story. We don't know yet. We'll find out in the next issue of Supergirl. Superman's still absent from this because, of course, he's still on New Krypton. That shitty place. Okay, moving on to a better comic book. Thor, number 606. I was recently informed that it's not the Doom armor. I feel, you gotta understand, guys, I was a Superman collector for years. I'm just getting into the Marvel Universe. Basically, I've only been in the Marvel Universe for a few months, maybe about 5-6 months. So I'm learning about all these villains, and the new, villains I've never heard of. And I know all the heroes, obviously, but, there are other, second-rung superheroes I've never heard of. But I'm learning, and I found out that it's called the Destroyer armor, and it was made by Asgardians. So Doom is piloting the Destroyer armor, and there's a big throwdown between Thor and Doom. Of course, Thor wins. Loki, of course, saves Doom at the last possible moment, and I tell you the truth, I really am enjoying this comic. Thor is awesome. It's a different way of reading. I'll tell you that. The way they speak is very, how do I explain that? It's very different. Read the comic, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's an awesome series. Another recommended series by Pete from Pete's Basement, as a matter of fact. You should be watching their show, by the way. Awesome comic book. The suggestion was awesome because I love it. It's a great comic series. It's, it's just great. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. It's Thor. It's Thor. And this whole siege thing that's going on, even though I don't like these side story bullshits and everything, Thor is an awesome hero. He's an awesome character. If I were you, definitely pick this up. It's the last part to the story, though. If anything, wait till 607, which is going to go into Siege, which, yeah, well, you guys know how I feel about side stories in Siege. They have nothing to do with Siege. Speaking of side stories of Siege that have nothing to do with Siege, New Avengers, number 61. Okay, it doesn't take place during Siege. It takes place before Siege. Well, right before Siege. This is when everybody's in the Dark Avenger Tower getting ready for the next day to invade Siege. Really nobody's in this comic other than Steve Rogers, Bucky together, and Spider-Girl and Spider-Man. Those are the only characters that show up in this comic book. And they're attacked. Of course they're attacked. Bucky and Steve are attacked, and there's a huge explosion to be continued for the next part, and Spider-Man and Spider-Girl are attacked. Spider-Man's falling off a building, and Spider-Girl is being mind-controlled and is being asked where the second Avengers hideout is, and they leave you at that. Will the Red Hood find out about the hideout, the second hideout? We'll find out in the next issue. What this has to do with Siege, I honestly don't know. It really did not have... It's taking place right before Siege. They acknowledge Siege, but it's not Siege. This should not be part of the comic. It's not Siege. It might be leading up to Siege, but it isn't Siege. Not yet. It could be, but it isn't in this comic book. And being honest, I can't wait for them to stop these titles, but then Marvel said they're going to reboot all the titles, except for Dark Avengers and possibly New Avengers. They'll have Avengers, Mighty Avengers, and hopefully not the Initiative either, but it's just a way. When they reboot a series, it gives them the right to actually up the price. See, the price was $3.99 because it's part of Siege. It'll basically remain $3.99 after they reboot it. So it's just a way of them getting an extra dollar out of you. And I'll be honest with you, I'm probably only going to be getting one Avengers title after the reboot too. Next issue, a one-shot, the Atom and Hawkman numbers 46. Mind you guys, this series was ended a while ago. For Blackest Night, I told you guys they're giving another issue to a lot of series that died out. This comic was awesome. Blackest Night Tie-in. The Atom is an Indigo, and he's trying to find a way to bring Hawkman and Hawkgirl back to life. And his wife shows up, and they have a fight on the Indigo 1's ring. They actually shrink down and fight on Indigo's 1's ring, and he kills his wife in the end. He kills Jean. She's gone. Bye-bye. And awesome comic. I would definitely suggest. It's a one-shot comic. It's worth the money. It has a huge tie-in to Siege. To Blackest Night. See, I'm so busy being pissed off at Siege, I'm forgetting I switched over to DC. It has a huge tie-in to Blackest Night. It's cool seeing Atom as a Indigo Lantern, and it's just nice. And Indigo 1 sends out a distress call to all of her fellow Indigos, and they're probably going to head towards Earth because all the Black Lanterns are heading towards Earth. And she probably sent something out to all the other Lantern Corps as well. Awesome comic. I would absolutely pick this one up. It's a nice one-shot, and I'm getting the finger, so we'll come back with the best comic I feel of the week, and closing, and just close everything else off. Alright guys, I will catch you guys in the last part of this week's comic book review. See you then.